guys, welcome to a new math lesson. Today what we're going to be working on is when we put two shapes together, two-dimensional shapes together, and we're going to find out what shape it makes when we put two identical shapes together. So let's go ahead and see if you guys can remember, what is the name of this shape called? Yes, it's a square. Now, if I were to draw a picture of two squares and I were to line them up next to each other, which I did here, let me show you, this one right here, and I put them next to each other like this, they create a new shape. Now see, they're the same size and I line them up. The square has four sides and four corners. So now if we line them up together, is it a square anymore? No, it's not. It is what? It's a rectangle. Do you see it has two long sides and two short sides? Still has the corners, the four corners, but now it is a rectangle that when we put those shapes together. Now, if we were to put those rectangles together, or those squares together in another way, they might look something like this. The other ones were laying this way, and these ones are on top of each other, but what shape is it? Yeah, it's still a rectangle. It's just stacked up on top of each other. So when you put two squares together and you line them up next to each other, it creates another shape. This one now is in the shape of a rectangle. It has two squares on the inside. Now, let's see if you can tell me, what is this shape here? Yes, that's a rectangle. A rectangle, how do you know it's a rectangle? Right, it has four sides, so 1, 2, 3, 4. How many corners? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 corners. And you know it's a rectangle because two sides are long and the two other sides are short. So that's a rectangle. What if you put two rectangles, the long sides, side by side? What shape do you think it'll create if we put them right next to each other? If you want to draw a picture of this, by all means, go do that. And then I'm going to I drew a picture here as well so you can see the red one. The red one is two rectangles that I traced right next to each other. And now, do you think it's still a rectangle now that we put them next to each other? No, it's not. Now it is what? It's a big square. It's got even sides, it's got 4 of them, and it has 4 corners. Good. Now, can you tell me what this shape is? Yes, this shape is called a triangle. A triangle has how many sides? Let's count. 1, 2, 3. And how many corners does it have? 1, 2, 3. So we've got 3 sides, 3 corners. Now, if we were to line up 2 of these triangles on the long side here, and we were to draw a picture of that, which I did, it would look something like this right here, where they're stuck next to each other. Now, if you look at it all together, is it in the shape of a triangle anymore? No, it made a whole nother shape. What shape is this now? That's right, it is a square. It's got 4 sides, 4 corners, and they're all the same length on each side. Good. So when we put different shapes together, or the same shapes together, or different, they can create a new shape. So when we are looking at our shapes, these ones are all two-dimensional. That means they are flat. So let's go ahead and look at all of our flat two-dimensional shapes, and I want you to tell me what shape it is, and then we'll move on to our three-dimensional shapes. So let's go back. What is this shape? If you said square, you are correct. What is this shape? Yes, that's a triangle. Excellent. What is this shape here? Good. This is a rectangle. Excellent. And here's another one. Good. This is a circle. Its edges are curved. Excellent. And what is this shape here? This is an oval. It's a curved edge, but it's longer, so it's more like it's stretched out. It's like a stretched out circle, almost. So this is an oval. Good. Okay, now I'm going to see if you remember from the other lessons, if you can remember all of the 3D objects. Remember, three-dimensional or 3D means you can measure it 3 ways. Now, do you remember what those ways are? Length, width, and height. Great job. So these objects are things that you can carry something inside. These ones are flat. You can't carry anything in it. They are 2D, but these ones are 3D where you can put something inside. So here's our first 3D object. Can you tell me what the name of this shape is? If you said it's a cube, you would be correct. A cube is a shape that has a face of a square, okay? And each face is like a square. That would even kind of look like a dice. If you have a die or a dice at home, that is a cube. It's in the shape of a cube. Good. Okay, here's another one, and I'm going to see if you remember what it is. Here's another one. Looks kind of similar to the cube, but what do you notice that's different from the cube? What is this one called? If you said rectangular prism, you would be correct. This one is a rectangular prism because not all of its faces are the same size like the cube. The rectangular prism has smaller sides, smaller faces. Some are in a shape of a square, but then some are in the shape of a rectangle. So this is called a rectangular prism. Okay, go ahead and say that. Rectangular prism. So first we have a cube, rectangular prism, and now we have, let's see if you know, what is this one? Remember, there's a circle at this end. There's a circle at this end. It can roll. What is this shape called? It's 3D. Can hold something inside. If you said that's a cylinder, you are correct. This is a cylinder. It's kind of like in the shape of a can or a cup. This is one that has a circle at the end and at the bottom. It can definitely hold something inside. So this is a cylinder. So far we have a cube, a rectangular prism, and a cylinder. Good. Here's another one. Here's one that's pretty round. It rolls really well. What is the name of this type of 3D or 3-dimensional shape? Yes, this is called a sphere. Can you say that? Sphere. So this would be something like a ball or a globe, anything that's totally round, maybe an orange or an apple. It's kind of like in that round shape. Good. So we've got a sphere, cylinder, rectangular prism, cube. Now, we've got one more we're going to look at. Here's our last one. Be careful with this one. It's got that circle at the bottom, but at the other opposite end, it's a point. What are these 3D shapes called? Yes, if you said it's a cone, you would be right. It'd be kind of like an ice cream cone or like a party hat. Excellent. So this is a cone. It's got the circle at that end and a point on this end. Excellent. Great work on that. So what I want you to do now is I want you to take out your math paper it's this page right here that says compose shapes. And what you're going to get to do is you're going to work on this carefully, write your name at the top, and I will read the instructions for you, okay? The first set says, put an X on the object that does not use the 2D shape. So they gave you the shape they want you to look for, and you're going to cross out the one that is not that does not use the 2D, okay? So we've got a house, a tissue box, and a soccer ball. Which one does not have this shape on its object? So that means you're going to look carefully. Do you see a square on this house, on the face of it? I do. I see it right there on the side. What about on the side of this tissue box? Do you see a square? I do. I see a square right there. Do you see a square on this volleyball? No, so that one doesn't match, so we're going to X that off. Next, we've got the hexagon. The hexagon has 6 sides and 6 corners. Now, if you see this shape in these pictures, don't put an X on it, but if you don't see this shape, cross it out. So we've got this honeycomb here with a bee. Do you see the hexagon shape in there? I do, so we're going to keep that. Do you see a hexagon shape here on this baseball? No, I don't see it either, so let's cross that out. What about on this soccer ball? Do you see that shape at all? Yeah, I see that shape as well. So we're going to leave that. There's little shapes inside of that soccer ball. Next, we have a circle. So you're going to look at each object and see if it has a circle on its face. So here's looks like a party hat. Do you see a circle on the end there? I do. I see a circle right there on that end. What about on this cube? Do you see any? No, I don't, so let's cross that out. What about a circle on this can? Remember, the cylinders are like the cans. And on the end, what shape do you see? I see a circle. So we're going to keep that because cans have the cylinder face, or the circle face on them. Good. Next, we have a rectangle. Now, do you see a rectangle in this brick wall? I do. Each little brick is a little rectangle. What about this set of stairs? Do you see a rectangle? I see it right there on the edge. And then what about this stop sign? Do you see a rectangle in that sign? No, I don't either, so we're going to cross that out. Next, what we're going to get to do is, remember how we drew pictures today where we put 2 shapes together and they created a new one? Well, this part, you're going to circle the picture to match. So this is what they did. They put a triangle and a square together. Now, if you were to put a triangle on top of a square, would it look like this or like this? If you said this one, you're correct. The triangle is on top. And this next one, there's 2 rectangles that they wanted to put together. So if you put those 2 shapes together, would it create a shape that looks like this or like this? Well, if you said this game board, you would be correct because they're the same size. This one shows a shorter building and then a tall one, and that wouldn't be correct. So circle the game board. Next, we have a picture of a party hat kind of shape, a cone shape, and then a circle. So do you see those shapes anywhere here? Would it match this pyramid? No, because there's no circle there. There's that triangle kind of shape, but not the circle. But this picture of this princess has that triangle hat cone shape, and then the circle as well for her face. So go ahead and circle that one. That one was tricky, guys, but you did a good job. Let's turn to the back of the paper and let's work on this together. The directions say, draw a line to match the block to the hole it will fit through. So whenever you're maybe a little baby, or maybe you have a little baby at your house, there's these little games that they like to play, and there's a block that will fit only in that certain hole. And if you don't have the right hole or the right block, then it won't fit. So they want you to see, can you match the 3D block with the shape that it will fit in? So here we have a cube. Where would that fit? If you said it'll match with this shape right here in this square, you would be correct. See how they match the faces? Good. Next we have this block right here. Where would this one match up in? If you said it would match in this little hole right here, you would be correct because this has 6 sides and this has 6 sides as well. Now let's move on to this shape. This kind of looks like a triangle, but it's 3-dimensional. Which place would it fit in? If you said it's going to fit in this purple triangle part, you would be correct. So draw a line from there to there. And the last one is a 3D star. Which hole would it fit in? Good. If you said this blue star, you would be correct. Now you would be able to put all of those blocks into those holes and play this game. That's a really fun one. Next is a review section where we're going to talk about patterns. Yesterday we talked about patterns, and this one they did color and shape patterns. So we're going to look at the pattern that they created, and then we're going to color it in what comes next, okay? So we've got red triangle, blue triangle, red triangle, blue triangle, red triangle. What do you think is going to come next? If you said a blue triangle, you would be correct. So go ahead and color that in for me. Next, we have some rectangles here. And the pattern, the base pattern is yellow, yellow, green. That's the pattern. So in order to repeat that, we're going to have yellow, yellow. What comes after the 2 yellows? Green, yes. So the pattern is yellow, yellow, green. Yellow, yellow, green. Good, so go ahead and color that. And if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. But until then, we'll see you guys later and in our next lesson. Bye-bye, guys.